afternoon and welcome to First Financial Biz Beat, presented by the Business Courier. I'm Kyla Woods. Well, the pandemic has forced all kinds of businesses to scale back and in some cases to close for good. St. Elizabeth is not one of them. On the front page centerpiece this week, ambitious expansion. The health system is on a healthy course. The not-for-profit CEO says the unprecedented crisis is a time to put your foot on the gas, not on the brakes. Reporter David Holthouse talks about the aggressive growth with Courier editor Rob Dahmeyer.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
You're welcome.
So my first question is, this is our cover story for our the Courier's weekly edition, and you spent a good long time talking to St. E's and talking to the people that run the place. What specifically is St. Elizabeth working on right now? During COVID-19, this is a time we've seen a lot of other hospital systems kind of retrench, but what are they working on?
Well, the big thing, they just opened a cancer center on their main campus in Edgewood in Kenton County. It's $140 million state-of-the-art facility. It's 6 stories. It is a major center. They're adding about 100 jobs to help staff that up. It'll coalesce all of their cancer care from their other hospitals, their other campuses into that center. They're also recruiting physicians, specialists, cancer type specialists into there, and adding some interesting alternative therapies as well. There's a whole floor devoted to that. So that's been on the plate for a couple of years now. Another thing that's been very interesting to me is just in May, after the pandemic emerged, they agreed to buy a hospital in Dearborn County in Indiana, Lawrenceburg. This is a county hospital that had been struggling, having some financial problems. St. E's had a relationship with them, had been providing some financial services for them, billing services. They are buying that hospital, and they're planning a major expansion in Dearborn County over the next 5 years. They're planning to build a brand new hospital there and even a satellite cancer center. So that's a major foray into another state for them.
Yeah, this all begs the question, why now? Like I mentioned earlier, and like you mentioned in the story, this is a time where a lot of hospitals are going through furloughs and just trying to keep things rolling because a lot of elective surgeries aren't being done right now in hospitals. This is a new phase for them that they never thought they'd see. But why is St. Elizabeth being so, I use the word aggressive right now with the purchase of the Dearborn Hospital, and they continue along with these big major projects? Why now?
Yeah, that's true. The other major health systems in the region have all cut back as the pandemic emerged. Services were shut down for a while and cut back. Tri-Health has cut hundreds of positions. UC Health has cut positions. Mercy Health has cut positions. So the St. E's CEO, Garen Coleman, told me that they saw this as not a time to cut back, but rather a time to step on the gas. I think they see this as an opportunity to grow. While others may be cutting back, they can use this time to expand and see an opportunity. For example, the Dearborn County Hospital is a great example of that. This was a hospital that was already struggling, and then as the coronavirus emerged, they really were having a hard time, and it became an opportunity to expand for St. E's and really become a dominant healthcare provider in that county. And so St. E's is really the dominant provider in northern Kentucky. Now they've got a hospital in every county in northern Kentucky.
Right.
And they were also able to fall back on some help that they got through the CARES Act. They got tens of millions of dollars that were able to hold them through. They also got some advanced Medicare reimbursements, and they had a healthy balance sheet already. So they were able to take that and kind of run with it.
Yeah. Last question for you. What are some of the other parts of healthcare that Colvin is getting St. Elizabeth into, other than, what you would traditionally think of as what a hospital does. They're expanding sort of outside of that box.
Right. One thing they've been into for a few years now, they've really been out front in providing substance use disorder care. And they partnered with another company called Sun Healthcare to open up a behavioral health substance abuse center in the last year or two. And that's an area that'll continue to be a big focus for them. We've kind of forgotten about that in this COVID-19 area, but that's still a huge problem in the community.
Yeah.
And cancer care is going to continue to be a huge driver for them. And they've started to identify people who have got cancer at an earlier stage. So that gives them a much longer path to take care of a patient. And it actually is a win-win because the patients survive and St. E gets to take care of them for hopefully for many, many years. So that's going to continue to be one of their major drivers over the next few years.
Well, it's a great story. And I think the key, when you're reading it, I think the key to look at is, what is St. E is going to be a very different place when we kind of get out of COVID and we get back to some semblance of normalcy. It's, it's going to be interesting to see, St. E's will be, quite frankly, a very different hospital system. So we'll keep our eyes on that. And again, it's a fantastic read, great story, a lot of good information in there. And we appreciate you doing it. And we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And back to you.
Another company thriving during the pandemic is Wise Wellness Guild. The network for women has seen memberships quadruple since COVID-19 hit. And joining us to talk about that rapid growth and a brand new partnership is founder Stevie Carr. Stevie, thanks for joining us today.
Kyla, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about Wise Wellness Guild and how you serve your target audience of working women.
Absolutely. Wise Wellness Guild is a social wellness society aimed at advancing women through health wellness. So that looks like events and resources, access to experts that gives women the opportunity to be able to invest in themselves.
And you offer some different levels of membership. I know you have a brand new partnership, a very exciting partnership with Christ Hospital that's detailed in the Business Courier this week. Tell us what the benefits are that are available to women who opt into that particular level of membership.
Yes, we are so thrilled to be able to offer this Prosper level membership. With the membership, you get access to 3 virtual visits provided by the Christ Hospital, as well as 4 quarterly wellness boxes delivered to the door. These wellness boxes are filled with ingredients from wellness brands and experts from across the country.
Well, congratulations. I know that's a big accomplishment, a big new chapter for you and Wise Wellness Guild. Really quickly, tell me a little bit about some of the other levels of membership. I know you can join for as little as $6 a month. So maybe run through some of those other levels that women can opt into.
Right. Yes. So we believe that wellness should be accessible and available to all at a very affordable price. And so if you become a member of Wise at our $6 reflection level membership, you'll have access to thousands of dollars worth of resources, tools, opportunities for you to have self-awareness and opportunities to really understand more about where you stand with your life. As you become a member of Wise, you'll get access to our weekly events that we have. We have almost daily events, but our weekly events are ones where our members come together to upcoming. We have a few events that you might be joining. We have breast health and bra styling presented by the Christ Hospital, as well as an opportunity for you to engage with expert Laura Schoolford. These are career teachers, all about resiliency in life and career.
And I'm a big fan of Loris. Her work is incredible as well. I know she's a really valuable partner through Wise Wellness. That self-awareness, understanding your values, all really incredible tools for women to understand. So tell us a little bit about any upcoming events that folks may be able to tune into in the coming weeks.
So in addition to the breast health and bra stylings and resilience, we have a Med Spa takeover that we will be doing, which people might be interested in. through a partnership with the Christ Hospital, they recently announced the launch of their med spa, and we could not be more excited to be able to bring Wise Wellness, Build, and Christ together and do on the 11th.
Stevie, thank you so much for your time today. Again, congratulations on the partnership. Everyone, make sure you check out that article on the Business Courier and stay tuned for more from Wise Wellness. Thank you, Stevie. And the city is giving 3CDC $3 million to redevelop the old Macy's downtown. The forgivable loan will help fund the $50 million transformation into the Foundry, a mixed-use development that will include office, retail, and restaurant space. A lane of Vine Street will be replaced with a sidewalk to expand outdoor dining. The old Kenner Toy Building in Oakley is now mostly rubble. The abandoned industrial site is being transformed into 3 oaks, homes, apartments, senior living, and a public park. It's named after the 3 large oak trees on the property. Across the river in Newport, the ribbon is cut on the Academy on 4th. The $37 million development has 202 units. The name is a nod to the old 4th Street Elementary School that once stood on that site. Stone from the retaining wall that stood around the school was used to build the outdoor fireplace, and chalkboards were also salvaged. Up next on BizBeat, we'll take you inside the newest place to bet on the ponies in Greater Cincinnati. NASCAR is speeding out of Northern Kentucky, and so too are millions of dollars. Kentucky Speedway lost its spot on NASCAR's 2021 schedule. It's a tough break for Sparta, as the Quaker State 400 was the state's only major professional sport in the state year after year.
Would see NASCAR fans come from all over the country, drivers come from all over the world to be here. It had a big impact on our local economy, restaurants, bars, hotels.
So now the track will look to adapt, hosting things like music festivals, racing series, and other special events. 2 local power plants are set to close, and with them will go about 300 jobs. The Zimmer Power Plant in Moscow and the Miami Fort Plant in North Bend will be shut down by 2027. Vistra Energy is retiring its entire Midwest coal fleet and investing in clean energy. Northern Kentucky's newest gaming facility is now open. Newport Racing and Gaming features 500 historical racing machines. There's also a room where you can watch simulcasts of races taking place across the country. Those behind the Racino expect it to boost the local economy and horse racing.
The facility here in Newport is really going to help the extension of Turfway Park. We are an extension of that racing license. So with the business here, we'll be able to support better purses, which leads to better horses for the overall racing product at Turfway Park.
Turfway Park is undergoing a $100 million renovation. It will open next fall. When you think of brazing or welding or any kind of metalworking, you probably don't picture a woman. There's only one company in all of North America with a woman in charge, and she sat down with First Financial's Ilaria Rollins.
Thanks, Kyla. I'm excited today. We have Peg Mattil from Franklin Brazing. Tell us a little bit about Franklin Brazing.
Okay, thanks for having me here today. Franklin Brazing and Metal Treating is really about a 50-year-old company. My husband and I bought it back in 1995. And what we do is we do continuous furnace brazing. There's a lot of different types of brazing, but the type that we do is mainly for carbon and stainless steel. And we put them through atmospheres of hydrogen and nitrogen that are pure atmospheres. And there's basically, 3 services we provide. Annealing, which is changing the properties of the metals for hardness. The other is brazing, which would be applying an alloy, copper or nickel, to stainless or carbon steel. And then the other would be assembly. So our team at Franklin Brazing Metal Treating will take tubes and flange, press fit, whatever our clients need. And typically the applications are parts for fluid handling, things that can't leak, parts for automobiles, heavy trucking, food processing equipment. We also do a little bit of low-level aerospace work. There's different certifications you have to do that. So we have IATF 16949, which is for automotive, and then we have AS 9100, which is low-level aerospace certification.
Great. You are the only female-owned company in your industry in North America. How did you find the courage to lead and lead successfully?
Probably a little crazy, but I guess that the thing about courage is that you really can't have it unless you have fear. And I would be lying if I didn't say I was scared to death to take this business over. I had never worked in manufacturing before. But what I know is that everything's about relationships. I've worked in technical sales, banking, healthcare, and at the end of the day, everything's about relationships. And there were plenty of people at my company that could help me figure out what I needed to do, as well as vendors. People don't look to their vendors enough, and there is tremendous expertise in that. And then finding advisors. I think the scariest part for me is not knowing what I didn't know. And I've been at it for about 3 years now. I became majority owner in June of 2017. And then also looking at the opportunity to get Women Business Enterprise National Certification was really important to me. And that process in itself helped me really shore things up at the company. So.
Great. Well, thank you for spending time with us today. Back to you, Kyla.
Thank you so much, Ilaria. Well, up next, the co-owner of Holy Grail joins us to talk about the Reds, COVID, and the bar's future. That's coming up after the break. Well, the Reds' October run lasted just one day. A playoff push could have been a nice pick-me-up for businesses at the banks trying to cope with pandemic-induced limits. Holy Grail co-owner Jim Mooring talked about the struggles of the past 7 months and hope for the future with Courier publisher Jamie Smith.
Thank you, Kyla. And Jim, thanks for joining me today on the show. You know, I know you and other restaurant owners are facing a lot of obstacles right now due to COVID-19. How did it feel this week, though, to really open back up for the playoffs at Holy Grail?
You know, when we opened 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, it was designed for Reds playoffs, Bengals playoffs. And growing up in the era that we did, we were spoiled and, had 70, 75, 76, 90. And we thought it was just a right, that, hey, the Reds were going to go to the playoffs. Little did we know it was going to be, so few and far between. It was fantastic. It is, as we're telling people, the best case of the worst case scenario. It's bittersweet. We have, the folks have been great. The Reds fans have been phenomenal. But, once you get to a capacity, and we are at a limited capacity, that's it. Over this playoff series, that's what it's been.
Well, they definitely helped. It helped you out in game one by going 13 innings, right? Give you a few.
Yeah, and it was that one seemed like it was never going to end though. But it was a beautiful day, so that helped out a lot. But it's bittersweet. It's awesome, and the Reds are always great with us.
Yeah. Can you tell me what a game like this, or an opening day, or NCAA March Madness, what does that mean to a restaurant like yourself?
It's huge. And, we shut down obviously right before March Madness, and we, no opening day this year, no opening day festivities. I was asked, how the playoffs compared to what we did in 13 or 2012. We were about 20% of the amount of sales that we were for those games. So it is dramatically off, and losing our busy season, it's been so trying. It's just as trying for us as it is for our employees, and the bartenders, the servers, the kitchen guys. It's been really, really challenging just walking through it. Losing that time and knowing what we're looking at going into the winter time is daunting, quite honestly. As you stare at it, you try to figure out what the new path is going to be.
Sure. Well, and kind of parting, is there any kind of message you'd like to give to the business leaders, those in the community, that could help you and your fellow owners?
I think every small business owner is going through the same thing we are. I read a stat that there were 97,000 small business closures, and not knowing what's around the next corner has been challenging. Over the last 7 months, we've been shut down for 2 months. We came back, we had huge supply chain issues. The proteins, everything coming in the back door is escalated in price. Trying to keep your eye on that, and bluntly, looking at your staff and your employees in the eye and really trying to cohesively keep everybody together. It's been emotionally just challenging as can be. Then you get hit with the social unrest and the riots, limited capacities, and now we're on obviously a shortened time frame, if you will. So we're, getting closed down early at night. And, if the government keeps on stepping in the way they are, we're going to need help. All the small businesses need help. It's one thing you're driving your P&L and you're driving your employees, but, looking at long-term viability, we're staring at, in my eyes, a November, December, January, and February that are going to be unprecedentedly bad in our industry. The cold weather with limited capacity, with not being able to have the patios open, it's going to be brutal. And, the whole time you've got one eye on Washington at the same time saying, are you going to help or not? And, hopefully, we get through this thing, and we will. As a business, we will. But as a country, it's getting more and more daunting. And I think people kind of feel like we're past it. I know there's, my staff calls it the Rona fatigue. But it's with us for a while. I think we got another 6-7 months. And, the city's been great. They really have been. And the patrons have been nothing short of fantastic. And, we like to thank everybody. But, it's a daunting task right now, staring at what's coming up.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for being a big part of our community. The Banks is a great part of downtown. We just wrote an article about how important it is to get those employees back downtown. We hope our hometown teams keep winning college basketball, Bengals, football, and of course, I'll be there to watch.
Little Day and some Go Red Legs, man. Get into the basketball season. It's my favorite time of the year. It really is.
All right, Jim. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Back to you.
You do the same.
Thanks so much, Jamie. And thank you for joining us for First Financial Biz Beat. I'm Kyla Woods. Have a wonderful weekend.